Hello and welcome to MBKM Models. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe and follow for more aircraft documentaries and model build videos. Manfred Albrecht Freiherr von Richthofen, the 2nd of May 1892 to the 21st of April 1918, known in English as Baron von Richthofen or the Red Baron, was a fighter pilot with the German Air Force during World War I. He is considered the ace of aces of the war, being officially credited with 80 air combat victories. Originally a cavalryman, Richthofen transferred to the air service in 1915, becoming one of the first members of fighter squadron Jagdstaffel II in 1916. He quickly distinguished himself as a fighter pilot, and during 1917 became the leader of Jasta 11. Later he led the larger fighter wing Jagdgeschwader I, better known as the Flying Circus or Richthofen's Circus because of the bright colors of its aircraft, and perhaps also because of the way the unit was transferred from one area of Allied air activity to another, moving like a traveling circus and frequently setting up in tents on improvised airfields. By 1918 Richthofen was regarded as a national hero in Germany and respected by his enemies. Richthofen was shot down and killed near Vaux-sur-Somme on the 21st of April 1918. There has been considerable discussion and debate regarding aspects of his career, especially the circumstances of his death. He remains one of the most widely known fighter pilots of all time and has been the subject of many books and films. Richthofen was a Freiherr, literally meaning free lord, a title of nobility often translated as baron. This is not a given name nor strictly a hereditary title, since all male members of the family were entitled to it, even during the lifetime of their father. Richthofen painted his aircraft red, and this combined with his title led to him being called the Red Baron, der Rote Baron, both inside and outside Germany. During his lifetime, he was more frequently described in German as Die Rote Kampfflieger, variously translated as the Red Battle Flyer or the Red Fighter Pilot. This name was used as the title of von Richthofen's 1917 autobiography. When World War I began, von Richthofen served as a cavalry reconnaissance officer on both the eastern and western fronts, seeing action in Russia, France and Belgium. With the advent of trench warfare, which made traditional cavalry operations outdated and inefficient, Richthofen's regiment was dismounted, serving as dispatch runners and field telephone operators. Disappointed and bored at not being able to directly participate in combat, the last straw for Richthofen was an order to transfer to the Army's supply branch. His interest in the air service had been aroused by his examination of a German military aircraft behind the lines, and he applied for a transfer to Die Fliegertruppe and Die Deutschen Kaiserreichs, the Imperial German Army Air Service, later to be known as the Luftstreitkräfte. He was widely reported to have written in his application for transfer, "I have not gone to war in order to collect cheese and eggs, but for another purpose." His request was granted and Richthofen joined the flying service at the end of May 1915. From June to August 1915 Richthofen served as an observer on reconnaissance missions over the Eastern Front with Feldfliegerabteilung 69 No. 69 Flying Squadron. In August 1915 he was transferred to a flying unit in Ostend, a coastal city in Belgium. There he flew with a friend and fellow pilot George Sommer, who would later teach him to fly solo. On being transferred to the Champagne front, he is believed to have shot down an attacking French Farman aircraft with his observer's machine gun in a tense battle over French lines. He was not credited with the kill since it fell behind Allied lines and therefore could not be confirmed. Manfred Richthofen had a chance meeting with German ace fighter pilot Oswald Boelcke, which led him to enter training as a pilot in October 1915. In February 1916 Manfred rescued his brother Lothar from the boredom of training new troops in Luben and encouraged him to transfer to the Fliegertruppe. The next month Manfred joined Kampfgeschwader II No. 2 Bomber Squadron, flying a two-seater Albatros C.III. Initially, he appeared to be a below-average pilot. He struggled to control his aircraft, and he crashed during his first flight at the controls. Despite this poor start, he rapidly became attuned to his aircraft. He was over Verdun on the 26th of April 1916 and fired on a French Nieuport. shooting it down over Fort Douaumont, although he received no official credit. A week later he decided to ignore more experienced pilots' advice against flying through a thunderstorm. He later noted that he had been lucky to get through the weather and vowed never again to fly in such conditions unless ordered to do so. Richthofen received the Palmer Merit in January 1917 after his 16th confirmed kill, the highest military honor in Germany at the time and informally known as the Blue Max. That same month, he assumed command of Jasta 11, which ultimately included some of the elite German pilots, many of whom he trained himself, and several of whom later became leaders of their own squadrons. Ernst Ude belonged to von Richthofen's group and later became General Oberst Ude. When Lothar joined the German High Command, appreciated the propaganda value of two Richthofens fighting together to defeat the enemy in the air. Von Richthofen sustained a serious head wound on 6 July 1917 during combat near Verviers, Belgium, against a formation of Fe-2D two-seat fighters of No. 20 Squadron RFC, causing instant disorientation and temporary partial blindness. He regained his vision in time to ease the aircraft out of a spin and execute a forced landing in a field in friendly territory. The injury required multiple operations to remove bone splinters from the impact area. The Red Baron returned to active service against doctor's orders on the 25th of July but went on convalescent leave from the 5th of September to the 23rd of October. His wound is thought to have caused lasting damage. He later often suffered from post-flight nausea and headaches as well as a change in temperament. Richthofen received a fatal wound just after 11 a.m. on the 21st of April 1918 while flying over Morlancourt Ridge near the Somme River. 49 degrees 55 minutes 56 seconds north, 2 degrees 32 minutes 16 seconds east. At the time he had been pursuing at very low altitude, a SOP with camel piloted by Canadian novice Wilfred Reed May of No. 209 Squadron Royal Air Force. May had just fired on the Red Baron's cousin, Lieutenant Wolfram von Richthofen. On seeing his cousin being attacked, Richthofen flew to his rescue and fired on May, causing him to pull away. Richthofen pursued May across the Somme. The Baron was spotted and briefly attacked by a camel piloted by May's school friend and flight commander Canadian Captain Arthur Roy Brown. Brown had to dive steeply at very high speed to intervene and then had to climb steeply to avoid hitting the ground. He turned to avoid this attack, and then resumed his pursuit of May. It was almost certainly during this final stage in his pursuit of May that a single .303 round hit Richthofen through the chest, severely damaging his heart and lungs. It would have killed Richthofen in less than a minute. His aircraft stalled and went into a steep dive, hitting the ground at 49 degrees 55 minutes 56 seconds north, 2 degrees 32 minutes 16 seconds east in a field on a hill near the Bray-Corby Road, just north of the village of Vaux-sur-Somme in a sector defended by the Australian Imperial Force AIF. The aircraft bounced heavily upon hitting the ground. The undercarriage collapsed and the fuel tank was smashed before the aircraft skidded to a stop. Several witnesses including gunner George Ridgway reached the crashed plane and found Richthofen already dead and his face slammed into the butts of his machine guns, breaking his nose, fracturing his jaw and creating contusions on his face. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and until next time.